Dust. And we're just waiting for teams to get themselves ready so we can hop live onto Cobblestone. And I think this is a perfectly fitting map to see which of these teams progresses through. I'm really looking forward to this one, Dust.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, both these maps have played out pretty close. You would like to favor G2 on Cobblestone just because, you know, they've played it at a little bit of a higher level than EnVyUs lately. Their offline record is insane on Cobble. It's probably their best map, Nuke maybe being the only other map you could argue for. Online, they've been on point as well. So, you know, certainly a team that is probably one of the best Cobblestone teams out there. But then you look at Envy, and Cobble's also been their strongest map in offline setting as well. So definitely should be kind of common ground as far as personal comfort. But I think G2 has just maybe shown a bit more on the map, obviously, with the titles that they've won and the placements that they've had.
Yeah, I certainly agree with that. I think that G2 will be favorites to take this map home. I think G2, like, correct me if you don't feel the same way, but I feel like G2 were the favorites coming into this best of 3 overall.
Nah, definitely not.
Kappa.
Me and Kappas don't get along, Vince.
I wonder what the odds would have been, actually, like in terms of percentages.
I mean, G2 were probably like a
70-30.
Domestic
like
matchups are always kind of iffy, so I maybe like 65, 70.
Well, I thought you meant 65-70. I was like, that's not how odds work, mate. You meant 65-35, right? Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's about right.
Jesus, man.
Yeah.
You give me so little credit.
Ooh, that's a dink onto RPK from his teammate behind him, but they still get the kill anyway, so it's worthwhile. Not bad at all. G2 starting slow. Shocks had a couple of amazing moments on Cash. There's a couple on Reddit already. Definitely check them out if you haven't already, with a Deagle in particular. But he is going to be the first to fall on Cobblestone. Body's been dropped to 5. MBK's dead. And Kenny S, that is perfect crosshair placement. Couldn't ask for any better crosshair placement than that, but now he's going to have to come with some big shots if he wants to stop the B side from being planted on. But actual fact, that's not going to happen. As the rotation does come to fruition, so Apex is going to get himself onto B, only to realize that A is the site of choice. It's going to sting. There's no kit to play with. Scream and XMS up against him. Scream had a blinder of a Cash. He was simply awesome there. X going to funnel through the middle of them. Surely he's going to go down to the hands of XMS as soon as he gets his first kill. And it's going to be the first fire on the Glock, actually. It's kind of a salty way to go, but EnVyUs do pick up the first pistol.
Yeah, kind of a crazy round, to be honest. A lot of early skirmishes. It was a little bit chaotic, but in the end, it comes down to a 1v1 that XMS is able to pull out. Unfortunate for Apex, he rotates out of the site they actually bring the bomb to. So, I'm sure he's kind of kicking himself for that a little bit, but we will see EnVyUs 4 MAC-10s going straight gangsta mode.
That money in the bank. I feel like for a map like Cobblestone, it does make sense, though, especially if you not exploit places like Cobblestone. MAC-10 is so prolific there against a lack of armor.
This is an interesting stack that G2 have, though. They have loaded the trap over here. Will the mouse come in and get the cheese will be the question, as they have a triangle of doom in mid-room.
Apex forced out into the open. Solid Molotov by Happy. They're still keeping the 3 players in mid. Just been bolstered up for a second. Dead body with the dead. Just the 1 kill, not for a second. And round again. Has been won in a matter of seconds. Shocks with a Deagle. I just want to save the Deagle in all honesty, because they're not going to have anything else in the next round. A Deagle gives them something to work with. Maybe looking for some exits on his way out. Yeah, I mean, judging from his position, he's not trying to get any kind of a move on towards the site. Doesn't suggest that we're going to see a clutch come in. But if you can keep the Deagle and maybe take a couple players down with him, maybe even pick up a MAC-10, you can drop that to someone else on his team. Of course, I'm thinking of best case scenario at this stage. But this round's done, regardless of what Shocks does. It's
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no doubt about that. Is Envy going to... I feel like this might be one of the first times we've seen a 3-0 start to a half. Feels like we've seen a lot of scrappy rounds kind of break up that kind of pattern throughout most of this series.
Yeah. Force Spies and Ecos have been king so far in this best of 3. Now, of course, we're assuming it's going to be a 3-0 because it certainly should be, but one of the reasons why Shox has saved this Deagle is it does give him a couple of options. Now, again, the double op setup is always something that G2 could go to, so I'm not surprised to see that Shox isn't going to buy more pistols and drop them to the rest of his team.
Yeah, he is one of the B players with NBK. Kenny Guess usually kind of an A rotator on the map, so double op definitely something they could go for here. Looks like EnVy will clean house. A little bit of aggression from G2 at middle and long A, and XMS is going to be just kind of padding the stats a little bit with that AK off the back of that. 8 kills in 3 rounds played, not too shabby. But it will not be the double op. Just be 1. And it will be MBK actually on a UMP.
Yeah, this early they didn't have enough for 2 ops.
Yep.
Or at least not with full nades behind it, at the very least. So it's just going to be 1 for the time being, but it's all off the back of Shox. Not gone for his extra investment in the previous round. Bomb way back in mid in the hands of Sixer, watching down the mid right now. So is Kenny S. Just from different perspectives. EnVy is pretty slow on their approach thus far in this half. Flashes into drop, forcing MBK out. Now EnVy is starting to make a move up long. There is a smoke down for the time being, so I'm not entirely sure as to whether someone could be there. Scream starting up through the smoke is going to give a little bit of information across the G2 at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, EnVyUs are well known for doing 1-4 setups on Cobblestone almost every round. It's interesting that it's RPK being the lone man at B. This would normally be Happy, so that's kind of a little bit of a change up that I didn't expect. But again, the 1-4 aggression is a comfort for G2 and EnVyUs. EnVyUs illustrating that here as Apex puts up that smoke on long A, buying a bit more time. No one really showing their hand just yet.
No, there's only 25 seconds left. No one's died. We've had no casualties in war. No health has even been lost. It's been a pretty passive round in all sense of the word. And now Scream and MBK going to decide that bloodshed is on the table. On the cards. 9 seconds. EnVyUs are in no position really to challenge this fight right now. 5 seconds. The bomb needs to get to the site right here. Is there going to be enough time? It's going to be incredibly close. 1 second to go. The bomb is planted. Got half a second. But now, that is the first hurdle they've navigated over. There's still a couple more in the form of Shox and Body. Scream leaps over Body and also Shox. And this is a brutal start for G2. They went for the AWP, it's backfired. EnVyUs 4-0. Unbelievable how close that was to timing themselves out, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Scream was a monster that round, though, just waltzing up mid-slope with the AK, finding all the key kills EnVyUs needed. As you noted, the bomb almost didn't get planted in time, but Scream did find a couple of key kills to give it just enough of it to make sure it got planted, and he finishes off the retake, ending the 2v2 and crushing G2's hopes of getting back into that round. Now they just have to save and do a stack and gamble and hope for the best, as it again will be a default opening from EnVyUs. They're playing very passive. They don't want a chance of falling prey to some type of aggression from G2. Well, they do need to make sure they sniff out this stack, as they are going to go back to that 1-4A setup again, so a bit of deja vu, but this time they're up against much less resistance, and Apex has... well, I don't even know what the hell I just said. Apex has way less aid anywhere nearby.
Thought just for a second they'd line up for a double spray with that CZ. Did at least land serious damage to XMS. Maybe again just slowing things down. Not getting carried away with their pick on long. Starting to make a move up. B long instead. Just over 35 seconds left. Flashing into drop. MBK can't see anything. And RPK will make the most of that. Body in a position they may not expect him to be, and the PG-50 is going to rip out for 2 kills. He runs out of bullets, runs out of health, but solid attempt all the same. Nice try. EnVyUs up to a 5-0 lead.
It was actually a bit scary because not only did he get 2 kills, but SMS was also pretty low on HP, so he might have been able to completely shut down Long B by himself. So a little bit of sweat broke out there, but EnVyUs can just wipe it off now because they got past it. It's 5-0. They're back into another full buy. Sixer will have the AWP, but double op is out for G2. Kenny S will have his over towards the A side. He's setting up with Apex at long. And Shox will have his for the other side of the map as he will be playing off the platform. Holding the broken wall, getting that angle. And EnVyUs will again go for the 1-4A, and again it's RPK, the solo man at B.
Those double ops, let's see if they come to fruition. One of them on the long side from Kenny, and he's just peering down. And Envy again, they seem to be on a pivot in terms of their rotations. They're very fluid in how quickly they move from one site to the other. And it's one of the pitfalls for the CTs. It's one of the biggest maps in terms of rotation time from the CTs. MBK is going to go down again. He's really had no luck whatsoever and it's come to drop zone. Shox is going to go for one. He doesn't realize he's about to get pushed from multiple angles. He needs someone's help. No, it's not going to happen. And seeing as he was the last line of defense on B, and he's going to open up the floodgates. The good news though for G2 is the rest of the team has been putting down frags. So even though this bomb will get planted, they have a 3v2 retake in favor of themselves. Molly at the back of the site. Six is going to get caught with his pants down. There's going to be G2 finally getting themselves on the scoreboard. Better late than never. And they retain both AWPs and 3 players. Not bad at all.
Certainly not. You have to give a lot of credit to Body. He was actually the one that early rotated over to the other side of the map, but he was pretty deep into the A-bomb site, and so there was definitely this moment where you thought Envy were looking good because they got the entry on NBK and drop down room, and like I said, they pulled that third rotate over to the A-bomb site, so a lot was going in Envy's favor at that point, but Body on the rotate got a couple of kills, and then Apex had a flank that EnVyUs did not pick up on. And that was the big difference maker in the round as G2 will put their first point on the board. They need to worry about getting reset, especially given that they're putting a lot of money behind having a double op setup. Granted, they didn't have to rebuy ops, but still a lot of cash went in that direction.
Once again, this time more aggressive. Played by Apex. He's just behind the hay bales on long. Kenny with the first frag of the round. Gonna be no eventually kill forthcoming. Body takes this opportunity to push through the smoke round back. And will claim 2 kills on Danger. Six is back with one of his own, but it should just be a drop in the bucket as far as G2 are concerned now. PK with the easier of the frags he's going to pick up on this map. Well, PK sprung into action. Now, Six Up, the only player for EnVyUs that has claimed the kill in this round, is all that remains. Managed to snake his way onto the A site. And BK's in hot pursuit, however. He seems to know roughly where Sixer is. Down he goes. G2, 2 consecutive rounds. EnVyUs still have enough funds to make a go of a buy, but they're starting to run out of funds now. It's depleting. Don't have too much left in the bank.
Yeah, again, just good work from Body. Another round where he plays a key role in a little bit of a multi-frag maneuver that will get, like you said, 2 in a row for G2. They'll keep the double op in play. EnVyUs still have money in this round, actually. Sixers a little bit behind as far as firepower goes, but all the utility is there. As Happy and RPK are trying to put a little bit more focus on actually contesting B platform. But other than that, it is pretty much the same default opening from the front side of Envy.
Scream's gonna take a little bit of a tickle from that nade, but he's okay. 77. I wonder if EnVyUs are gonna speed things up a little bit if they continue to concede rounds. That's been fairly slow on their T side thus far. Stacking outside of B. And the trigger about to get pulled, but so it will from EnVyUs. He doesn't miss much. To go down though, Scream has also been on point with his aim. Finally, he will fall apart in this round, but it's a 2-on-2. Bomb planted. Apex has shown himself a little too long and Happy's gonna make the most of that. XMS comes through with the final kill, and G2's winning ways have came to a screeching halt. Two players can't really buy. Or at least not much. This is going to be a rough buy now for G2.
Indeed, it is going to be. Double op, though, is still going to be afforded, as there was a good bit of money on Shox and Kenny S. But it does come at the cost of MBK only having a UMP and Mag 7 on Apex. And while MBK's been playing a lot of drop-down room where a gun like a UMP can still be okay, Apex is going to have to do something special to make a Mag 7 work on this A side of the map. They're going to choose to go for a boost. I mean, that round really just came down to a 5-man B hit where Envy just out-traded G2. I mean, there's really no other way to put that. Just pure brute force alone punches that through for Envy. They will go back to, I mean, the same 3-2 default opening. They've really favored this. They have floated Happy back over to A several times to add some weight to that side of the map. This time, though, he's looking to kind of linger around the drop-down room and see if he can't make something happen. There's already been a little bit of an exchange of utility. Kenny F's looking to take a little bit of an aggressive angle on Danger here from long A. Trying to, make sure no one crosses in the mid-room for free, but won't find anything just yet. In the meantime, XMS is moving up. So Apex's boost could certainly come into play when you consider how Envy's positioning themselves.
Yeah, it's a solid position as well to assume when you have no Kevlar. It gives you the safest way of maybe getting a cheeky pick and just backing off, but he decides that maybe to go for a peek instead. Molly down, MBK once again forced out of position. Has been a reoccurring theme over and drop. Happy's going to try and make the most of this. MBK comes through, 25 seconds left. The kills going to start to open up for EnVyUs. RPK straight through into Kenny S. 20 seconds now. They still have Apex with his Mag 7 around the balcony. We're just underneath it. He's going to get one kill onto RPK. Can he turn his attention elsewhere? He doesn't have Kevlar, though, so aim punch going to be an issue. No longer will be, as he's been put down, and Shox has no further role to play in this round in terms of clutching. He's off to save. EnVyUs will take a 7-2 lead on their T half.
Yeah, they have been ferocious on this T side. They've done really well at just getting map control and working off of it, out-trading their opponent's shots. Kind of taking his time, making sure he was going to land the shot on Sixer. Didn't want to let Sixer jump around too much and make a miss. Does have to give up his hiding spot, though. And Happy will actually hunt him down, so not even the op is saved. Money is very low on G2, so they will have to take a save here. That could give Envy even more room to push their lead, as they have been absolutely on point on their T sides today, man, in particular.
You've got to say, it was really their T half on Cash that took them to the victory and took them to this position in the first place. It was looking like it could very well go the way of G2 for a clean sweep 2-0. Hasn't been the case. And as you highlight, with that previous round going their way, G2 have really nothing to play with. MBK's got himself a Zeus. CZ and Apex, that's it. The rest of the team is bare bones.
Oh, baby. It's the tilter, aka the taser. It's pushed out of position, though.
MB's done this nearly every single round. They flashed and Molly dropped. Yep. MBK has never been able to get in amongst the action, really.
To be fair, that's probably one of the hardest spots to play on CT side in Counter-Strike.
Yeah, definitely. He's been totally neutralized. It's not even his fault. Just how much he can do in his mollies and flashes landing in his face every single round. And down he goes. Zeus is not going to play any major part in this round, at least. But just seems like a systematic shutdown from EnVyUs. They've been so confident on this side. It's been pretty easy picking so far. It's not really positives that you could say for a G2.
Let's hold the phone a little bit here. A couple of AKs are in the mix now. 3 on 3. They don't have armor, so aim punch a factor, sure, but it definitely poses a threat now.
They could. They're getting caught out in the middle of nowhere. And Scream is going to put up another 2 kills into his account. XMS 13 and 3. Top fragging. Exceptional stuff. G2 will come back with another buy, but unless Body wants to drop down to a glass cannon AWP, it's going to be full M4s with the UMP.
Yep.
So Kenny S again hasn't really had too many opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like EnVyUs are doing anything crazy special. I mean, they're just playing off their default really well. They're getting drop down room control, as you noted. They've neutralized NBK. They've been able to use that as a staging ground to mess with B. They just also out-traded their opponents. I mean, guys like XMS and Scream are, you know, up there putting up double digits, short of Body having a couple of rounds where you got, I think, like 4 of his kills came in 2 rounds, where he had, like, the 2 rounds that his team actually won were off the back of him having multi-frag rounds. So other than that, it's just been EnVyUs out-dueling G2. And their A attacks have also been on point, and how they're able to come up mid-slope and get these attacks, and they're looking for the same exact thing in this round.
There hasn't been anything too flashy, too much flair in terms of the executions. As you say, it's just been the raw aim that's been going the way of Envy. Had a lot of timing on their side as well. The flash is on point again. There's to be more of the same. Scream with 2, looking for a 3rd, gets it done. A triple wreckage by Scream himself. And with the 3 kills, that's going to afford them a bomb plant. And once again, G2 backs against the wall. They have a kit, but not much firepower behind it.
Yeah, man. Like, every time Scream comes up mid-slope, it's like he's taking the belt off. And he's, like, saying, it's Scream time, and EnVyUs like, no!
Reasonable.
You know that comic strip. You know what I'm talking about, right? Come on. I mean, seriously, every time they've entry'd up A, I swear Scream's multi-fragged up mid-slope every time.
Oh, yeah, he's been bossing it. Last 2 maps, he's been really impressive. There's not much that G2 can do about this. They had perfect pop flash into mid, then Scream just tees off with another 2 kills. And G2 are left in the ruins of their CT side. Again, this buy is just not really going to be anything happening. If they want to go for AWPs, it's going to have to be minimal investment. So this would be quite a surprise and quite a shock if Envy did knock G2 out here and progress through to face off against Big or Gambit in the finals.
I mean, domestic matchups are always a little bit dodgy to try to predict, but G2 certainly were the favorite, and it's also certainly true that G2 has bested EnVyUs more often than not. I think coming into this best of 3, it was like 8-3 as far as maps won in favor of G2. So, and I want to say that of the 3 that EnVyUs won, I think a couple of them were like the first times they played against each other after the moves, which was quite some time ago. So in recent times, it's mostly been G2.
The only rifler of shots currently positioned on B. Rest of the lineup is pretty much standard. It's more aggressive you'd expect when the CZ's and a Deagle on the table. Up and mid and long. Again, no huge surprise. We're going to see the same couple of Molotovs and flashes that we've seen time and time again from Envy. Very effective at getting rid of any drop presence. MBK now is trying to just bide his time in the shadows. Next to window. He's going to get the drop on onto RPK. He's been desperate for this kind of an opportunity throughout this half. It's really the first time we've seen him get it. And he gets instantly neutralized by Happy. He only loses 27 health. He's able to duck and run.
It would only be G2 if they went around like this, wouldn't it? But he's doing his best to try to hold that off with the help of XMS. They do have a 3-on-2, but Shox has an M4 in armor.
4 seconds left. 3 seconds is going to have to be the kill. They don't have enough time.
Wow.
It just snuck up on EnVyUs and G2 purely off Kenny S surviving have won the round. That's such an anticlimactic moment, but fair enough, G2 third round on the board finally.
Yeah, these 4 spies have been a thorn in EnVyUs' side throughout this best of 3. Without them, they might have already won this thing. Luckily, they still have a lot of breathing room after rolling off to a huge lead, but now G2 have that double op to work with again. They haven't really done much with it, to be fair, in this map. And it's going to be a really fast mid push. This is a much faster pace for Envy.
This is honestly like the perfect counter to the corpse. Just get right up in the face of likes of Kenny S. Deal with it. Apex Dog is going to steal with 3 adversaries, gives them the sausage, and it allows the rest of his team an opportunity to maybe clutch this round out. Without Apex, this round is pretty much done. Kenny S got destroyed instantly. This round isn't done just yet. Bomb been planted. Pressure now shifts across to G2. Gonna wait for Shocks. They're not entirely sold on the idea that both of the terrorists are still on the B site. You can see that Shocks was peering into the window, making sure they didn't get flanked from behind. On window side. XMS is peering up. Battle of the Orphans, and XMS has missed his shot, but he won't be missing it onto body. He whips out the P250. Shocks needs to clutch this. He's got a kit now. Just pick one up. Going to be darting around the side. That flashbang could be enough. He's going to hold down and defuse the round. It's not going to go the way of G2. EnVyUs have done it. 10 rounds now, and G2's economy is wrecked.
That's a tough pill to swallow if you're G2 because everything was going your way when Apex made that huge play at the fence. You know, like Kenny S went down fast short of the fast push. I mean, the pacing change for EnVyUs was on point in that regard, but Apex recovered it so well. But it's XMS. He's at 19 kills. 4 of them came in that round where he really salvaged it for his team, particularly winning that post-plant scenario with the AWP of all guns. Not the one he's known for, but he makes good use of it. As you noted, G2's economy in shambles as a result of what we just witnessed. And that really gives EnVyUs the chance now to just have the go-ahead to maybe put the finishing touches on this thing. And yeah, pull off the upset. Of the last 5 maps these teams played against one another before this series, it was G2 the victor of 4 of them. They traded back and forth in this best of 3, and now Envy may win the one that matters most to move on to the finals of today.
So much damage already inflicted to EnVyUs, though. Just coming around there, I think Apex just wrecked a bunch of them. Everybody below 75% of their health. Great start, of course. There's no way of EnVyUs knowing this, especially considering that most of that was through smoke. For all they know, everyone's on 100% health and just fine. Flash is going to start to be tossed out on the B side. Body in the perfect position to strike. And strike he shall, alongside MPK, who comes through with a P250. Looking way better now for G2. Nothing particularly special, just not checking all the corners. 6 of 37. Happy 51. Haskell in himself body. Gets the kill finally, trades up to the AK. Next to him, 20 more bullets allotted to him now. It looks like they're going to get timed out once again. He won't die after time. But he will die all the same. There's not too much funds for EnVyUs, so maybe G2 have got themselves a gateway back into Cobblestone.
It's actually nuts, though, that you think that 2 of the 4 rounds G2 have won have been off of 4 spies. I mean...
True.
If EnVyUs could just handle those situations, they would have dominated this half. I mean, they might have won 13-2. And then at that point, G2's pretty much completely out of it, short of, you know, winning a pistol round and making a huge run coming back. And as you noted, EnVyUs last round of the half had barely anything to work with. Again, they're going to pick up the pace and go for a B rush, but with very little to work with.
That's such a good Molotov throw down as well. It's just below the broken wall, knowing the fast push could be imminent. Just clean them up in terms of health. It's going to be an easy final round. So 5-10, considering that EnVyUs at one stage... what, 9-3 behind, I think, and then 10-3 behind?
Yeah.
That's not bad at all. That 10-5's not great, but Cobblestone can actually be T-sided, depending on the sides, and especially depending on the economic situation CTs find themselves in. So there's every chance that G2 could pull this back now.
Absolutely. won the last 3 rounds of the half, and if they can win pistol, I mean, their T side is certainly sharp enough to get them back in. Again, we talked about how good they've been on cobblestone with this lineup, so certainly, I mean, winning those 3 rounds could make all the difference. And I think if G2 do wind up winning this, EnVyUs will certainly kind of kick themselves for giving up those force buy losses. Because not only did it cause them to lose those 2 rounds, but it also caused them to lose the last round because they had nothing to work with.
Yeah, their eyes need to be on the prize of the second pistol, though. I'm worried about how they got to this situation later. If EnVyUs take this pistol, then they are in such good shape anyway. So they can scrap everything that we just said. Molly and smoke for Shocks. No kits for EnVyUs. And a very aggressive push around the back. 4 players in total. 2 went through mid, 2 went through long.
And we saw this yesterday, too.
So they will concede the bomb plant at the very least. But the idea is to try and rummage their way round the back as soon as possible and get as many frags in quick succession. I say they're going to get the bomb planted, the bomb's still on platform. They didn't even go in for it. What the hell is going on, G2?
Wow. Didn't see that coming. I'm pretty sure EnVyUs ran that exact same pistol yesterday, though. I know someone did. Someone did a 4-man push through A. I think it was Envy. So, making it work big time. I mean, if you're G2, to be fair, how the hell are you supposed to expect 4 people to be behind you long B like that?
No, definitely not. I'm just surprised they didn't push the bomb out onto the site and at least get a bomb plant for that, because everywhere they checked was free.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the timing was just perfect. Like they wanted to make sure that B was cleared. By the time they realized it was, they were already getting flanked by 4 guys.
Well, Shots has given them a little bit of hope in his round stream, trying to take it away. Alongside Happy. Both players sub 15 health. Shots on 3. And he is the only player that remains. And to make matters worse, he's about to get flanked by XMS, who's going to take down the kill. And EnVyUs moves 7 rounds in the lead. 12, pardon me, 12-5 now.
Man, what do you know? EnVyUs won an anti-force buy.
The dream may be real after all.
I know, man. That was the ticket. That was the key. They needed to unlock it. So G2 will have essentially nothing in this round except for 2 P250s, excuse me. So you'd like to fancy EnVy's chances to go ahead and seal this one up.
I'm pretty sure as well, correct me if I'm wrong, but EnVyUs have won all the pistols in this best of 3.
I'm not sure about that, but I know they definitely won a good handful. My memory is pretty shit in that regard, so I couldn't tell you if you're right or not.
As is mine.
Well, we're just kind of boned in that regard then. Speaking of boned.
Yeah, G2, there's just nothing really going for them right now. Maybe Shox is about to pull off a P250 masterclass. Or perhaps not. And be trying to blaze it with the UMP. Minute to play with. Has control of the bomb. Doesn't have Kevlar. But there is a potential gateway to A. If Scream completely bites down on potential spawn play, but he's not. He's looking, he's seen Shox, and that's pretty much the round done. Surely Scream realizes he could be going down. Oh, no way. Okay, he gets it. For a second there, I thought Shox was able to scamper away to A. That would have just been disgusting timing, but it's not going to happen.
And so EnVyUs are in prime position to eliminate G2, to pull off the upset, to move on to the finals to play the winner of our next game, which will come probably pretty shortly after this. Might have a little small break in between, but next up will be Big versus Gambit.
Yeah, we get wrecked by that, of course.
Yep.
The dream.
Oh, you wanted a break to get some food? Nah.
It has been a pretty sick best of 3, though. I mean, this map definitely has been the weaker of the maps, I would say, in terms of entertainment value, but
yeah, true.
It has been a lot slower. But take nothing away from EnVyUs, they have just been churning out results. It's been an incredibly efficient performance by them. Maybe G2 have a couple of aces up their sleeve.
Yeah, again, their T-side cobblestone can certainly be dangerous. They're very good at playing the 1-4 stuff as well. They're very good at just playing default, just being able to work together and trade. They have the firepower to make T-sides work. But Sixer delivers the first blow. I think he may have even spotted he got the bomb down as well. That will cause some shifting of the EnVyUs defense. That Shadow gives shocks away. He's had a slower game, that's for sure.
Scream hasn't had any indications of slowing down himself, though. He's 19 and 11. Body and NBK. Body is going to get the drop on XMS. He's just trying to make sure he can't get another kill or two. Had him clenching his butt for a second when he sees XMS spin around. Had to take the kill then.
Oh, if XMS would have got that kill, you have to wonder just if Body tilts off the face of the universe.
Pretty sure he would.
As it stands, NBK is in a 1v2 where he has a chance, but he's running out of time, so he has to make this work. There is actually no one here directly to stop him from putting it down. RPK's in the area, but the plant will likely happen.
Gonna fake that out, try and drop the play. There's one. Oh, that was so incredibly close to NBK pulling off a majestic clutch, but he's gonna get denied, and so will G2.
Yeah, because it almost was. I mean, Sixer should have just went off of a timeout because RPK forced him off of planting, and there was no time left to plant, even after NBK got the kill on RPK. That's a mouthful. But yeah, Sixer actually went for the peek, and I got a little bit worried he might have threw the round, but he actually gets the kill, so it doesn't matter. EnVyUs take it. They're up 14-5, and G2 are in a 4-spy to survive scenario at this point, and they've done pretty damn good in 4-spies, if we're honest. So I don't want to count them out just yet, but EnVyUs played a fantastic game of Counter-Strike here on Cobblestone, and they very well should reap the rewards of it and move on to the finals later today.
G2 not out of it just yet. They've won with worse buys than this today. Quite a few times, actually. But there's no doubting that the odds are stacking further and further against them. Screaming a bit. Cheeky peek up mid. Spots himself, Kenny. He goes down. I don't know how many rounds Kenny's actually had the AWP in this map. It feels like only once or twice. G2 constantly been up against it, economically speaking. Bomb just outside a drop, starting to maneuver its way over on the A side of the map. And this is all a fake. This is all baiting out EnVyUs. Because G2 is nowhere near here anymore. And now that Body's died, they have to just rush through. They have to make this stick. There's 4 players over on the B side of the map. They're going to be able to rotate fairly quickly. Apex with a flashbang, accompanying him, gets the kill on Sixer. Switches across, but Shock's going to get picked off in the back. And the bomb's not getting planted either. The fake has not been a success. The round has not been a success. In all honesty, Cobblestone hasn't either. EnVyUs have picked apart G2 every single twist of the way.
And not a bad fake attempt. It just didn't really work out. EnVyUs were able to get the kills on the B-bomb site. And, you know, if you get those frags, you might pull the rotation off of A, sure. But if they're getting the frags, then there's no need for the A players to actually rotate. And so Sixer held his ground. Even though he died, he got the information they were pushing mid-slope, was able to alert his team to, you know, come back over to the A side. And Shock's flank also got busted. So, I mean, just everything piled against G2 in that round. But they do get the opening pick in this round. They do have to march 10 in a row to force an overtime. Happy looking to go for the counter boost here. Body, though, waiting for it in the corner. Might catch XMS just waltzing through, and he does. He's even looking for the counter boost as well, and he does spot Happy's head. Oh, my. What a pickup from Body.
EnVyUs starting to be too deterred by this. The only downside is that Sixer and XMS are on solo funds that may cost them an extra round or two. But Scream had to switch weapons. In doing so, he will get himself killed. Now it's up to RPK. Is the tank gonna live again? Blow away the opposition. No, Body picks him up. G2. 1 match point down, 9 to go.
Happy will pick up the AWP. Scream will also buy one and pass it along the Sixers. So even though they have plenty of cushion, they're still forcing up in this round. 2 ops, and Scream only has a USP. Does pick up a head armor. What is this by?
That's a good question. Double ops. Pistols went for a push down mid, took a lot of damage. 6 is down. Not one of the 2 oppers though.
This feels like one of those rounds where Happy's like, I want to op, and they're like, all right, I guess. At least they do get to recycle one for Scream, so at least they'll get to put it back to use.
May also be that they wanted to keep one of the ops on B side, and he can just sit in the staircase and watch up long. And they've got a buffer of rounds, but they have to make sure they respect G2. Body is going to go down. Of course, it's the hands of Happy. After we've highlighted, he does have the second AWP.
Well then, they're making it work. They have a 4-on-3 right now. Execute coming in though.
Smokes onto door. Molly at the back of sight. It's going to force him out to the open. He could end up dying from that open if he's not careful. In fact, he's okay for the time being, trying to scamper away down to just 42 health. Nearly burns to a crisp. Apex in position to strike, but his teammate's gone down. And how has XMS survived that? That's unbelievable.
What a ridiculous round.
As well. And EnVyUs, with a double op setup with pistols, have made it work, and they knocked G2 out of the New York ESL qualifiers.
That's a big result. Definitely no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They really, you know, put G2 to the limits, put them up against the ropes, and they knocked them out to finish it off. And there you have it. They will move on to the finals. Big props to them. They played some great Counter-Strike today. That was definitely a questionable buy, but they do make it work. So what do you know? I mean, just Scream somehow being able to survive with that op and, you know, recycle it even after the original opera went down. And then you obviously see XMS making a little bit of a miracle happen there in the end as well. So they get it done. And so there you have it. Big and Gambit will be coming up next. The winner of that will move on to play EnVyUs. We'll take a brief break, but when we come back, we will continue on finals day here on the European side of things for the New York qualifiers. So stay tuned, folks.